of business and technology, and I help professionals turn their income into real wealth. Happy Friday. Yes, it is Friday, and welcome to Friday. Welcome and share the live. Welcome to the live. Ghislaine, welcome in. How are you doing today? Welcome, it's Friday. Mia, welcome. How are you? Today it's about investing. What questions do you have? Let's tap out the live. It's all and if you're just meeting me, I'm Dr. Lina. I'm Doctor of Business, and I help professionals turn their income into real wealth. So if that's what you're just meeting me, I talk about pillars of wealth building. It starts with your income, then goes your investing, right? And then we have real estate, and of course we do have the four pillars of wealth, which I call the financial foundation, which is financial literacy, financial planning, financial discipline, and of course financial freedom. Because the goal is what? Financial freedom. Think about it. You're building a house. Whenever you want to build a house, there's something called the foundation. You need to have a foundation. You have to have the four pillars, and then you have the goal is financial foundation. So if you have any questions at all about investing, this is your opportunity for a free consultation. I do this over the weekend on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, where I give people the opportunity to ask questions. Annie, welcome. Andrew, welcome. How are you doing? Welcome. And today it's about any questions you may have. We're talking about investing. Either you're investing in real estate, you're investing in the stock market. Want you to invest in. Those are the things we're talking about, and we're all going to be tapping out the live. Andrew, welcome in. You are good. Happy Friday. I am super excited. It's Friday. Welcome in once again. And today, ask all your questions all the way, and and let's tap out the live. We try to get to 10,000 taps within the first 10 minutes. Say Andrew gets the drift. He's going to tap out the live. He's going to share the live, and that's what we do. And thank you all for doing that so that we can bring some more people to share out the live. Just press the forehead and share out the live. And for my YouTube community, welcome in. How are you doing? Let me know where you're connecting from. Put a message in the comment. Let me know where you're connecting from. Welcome. How are you? If you have any question about investing, because see, if all that you do with your income is you take the money and you fund lifestyle, right? Depreciating lifestyle liability, if that's all that you do, you realize that what you're basically doing is you're working to pay bills. So what then should you do differently? Use some of it to fund the lifestyle and save some of it and use it towards investing. And that's how it's done. Hello, welcome. Green, welcome. How are you doing? Silent, welcome in. Mansa, welcome in. Andrew, thank you for tapping out the live. Welcome. And if you haven't subscribed, now is your time to subscribe if you haven't followed, because you have so many things to gain right here, except you don't like to build wealth. Because here we talk about the time wealth, we talk about the health wealth, we talk about the peace wealth, we also talk about the money wealth. A lot of time people often equate money to money wealth to money, like wealth is money, but no, money is beyond wealth. There's something called health wealth. Your health, right? Health is wealth. There's a reason why we say that health is wealth, right? If health fails, every other thing fails, right? And then there is also something called time wealth, the time to live life at your own terms, ability to live life at your own time. Peace wealth is the other one. Be able to sleep with your two eyes closed. Those are the type of wealth we talk about. Save your money, right? And welcome in. Brisha, welcome in. Barry, welcome in. Amanda, welcome in. Batson, welcome in. Opal, welcome in. And thank you all for tapping out the live. We'll get to 10,000 taps in the first 10 minutes. That's what we do. We know. Gigi, welcome in. And I'm saying that to the TikTok because we also have the YouTube community. If you haven't subscribed, now is your time to do that, because I release weekly long form videos every single Sunday, which is going to be beneficial to you. Grow your wealth, both health wise, both time wise, and of course money wise, and of course you having an holistic life, a life full of purpose. So today is all about investing. So why should you invest, or what does investing even mean? Guess what they taught us one thing in school. Mary St. Clair, welcome. Eunice, welcome. Mary Bless, welcome in. They taught us one thing in school. Go to school, get a job, and of course what happens? Go to school, get a job. What happens next? Basically, start funding your lifestyle, start enjoying your lifestyle. But guess what? If that's all that you do, you realize that you're not building wealth. You're not building wealth. Basically, that's what you're just basically funding, you're just basically living life. That's all that you're doing. But then, how do you build wealth? How then do you build wealth? How you build wealth is simply one thing. It's simply you taking some of your income. I always say start with your income. Except you have an inheritance or you won a jackpot, it always starts with your income. Books for life, welcome. Yeah, I love that. Wetman, welcome in. How are you? Athlete, welcome in. DK, welcome in, and thank you for tapping out the live, sharing out the live. We try to get to 10,000 taps within the first 10 minutes. And today it's about investing. And for the YouTube community, subscribe if you haven't done that, because you have a whole lot to benefit. Lumba, Mams, Vaughn, welcome. Book for Life, welcome. And thank you all for tapping out the live. If all that you do with your income is you take your income and you basically do not, you basically use it to, what language this is? It's English, right? Do I not sound like English? Do I sound like I'm speaking French? Right? Because you are typing in English, so I believe that you can hear that this is English. But if you're asking where I'm located, I am located in Texas, in United States. Let me meet you as well. Let me know where you're located. Andrew, would you advise having an emergency fund before invest? Absolutely, yes. Yes, it sounds pretty. Thank you. Yes, that is an amazing question, right? As a matter of fact, since you brought that up, and today is a very fluid day because it's live question and answer. It's a question and answer that is going to direct our topic. I will go to the question that Andrew asked. Is it advisable? Would you advise to have your emergency fund before investing? That is an excellent question. And you see that question that you asked, that is one of the biggest financial mistakes people get to make, which is people start investing before people do not follow the right wealth order. So let's talk about the right wealth order, right? Since that's a question that came in from Andrew, we'll talk about that. So what is the right wealth order? A lot of times we might think, you're in Ghana. Yay! Welcome, my Ghanaian brother. Welcome in. Nan Ode, welcome. User, welcome. Cave of Success, welcome. And we get to tap to 10,000 likes within the first 10 minutes. We share out the live, press my forehead and share out the live, and subscribe. Once you've joined here on the YouTube side, all that you do is subscribe and tap, since we do not have all of those options on YouTube, but on TikTok, we tap out the live, we press the forehead, we share out the live. If you are sitting here, get your daily at me if you find this very valuable. So let's talk about the right wealth order that a lot of people miss. So the first step, let's assume that you just start working today, right? The first step is for you to get your income, which is number one. Please never I'm not one of those people that would say, oh, you know what, income is bad, or, you have to be an entrepreneur. First of all, you have to start from somewhere, right? Even as an entrepreneur, there's something, it requires you to, how do I put it? As an entrepreneur, you require capital. It's something that's going to bring up the capital. So you want to at least, treat your income, you want to work towards your income to grow your income, right? You want to ensure that you grow your income. How do you do this, right? And we're going to be talking about all of this in June. June the 6th, where we're talking about the Wealth Building Academy, right? The free training. Now, what do I mean by this? You want to do all that you can to increase your income, because it's going to make your journey to wealth building very fast. Why? And how do you increase this income? How? You can supplement your income, get another side also. Do it for a couple of months or a year or whatever to increase your income, right? But whenever you increase your income, do not increase your expenses. That is one. The other way is that you can just get a certification, get some free training on Coursera, on what's it called? On Google Coursera, on Ava Business School. There are so many free training that you don't have to pay. As a matter of fact, there are certifications that you see some of my certification right there. Some of them are not, they're not doctorate or whatever. My doctorate is there, but there's some of them that it is not college degree. Employer pays for employer pays, they don't pay for certificate, they pay for the skill set. So the first thing is your income. Once you have that income, you keep your expenses low. So the next, once you keep your expense low, the next thing, back to what the question that my friend asked, my friend Andrew, and I'll put it back here. Andrew asked, where's the question again? So the question is, should you have emergency fund? Should you have emergency fund before investing? Now, once you have your income, the next thing that you want to do in the right order of wealth is for you to build your emergency fund. That's the next thing. Rex, Omogo, Sky King, Joseph, welcome in. The next thing you want to do is your emergency fund. The reason why I say this, and where do you put this emergency fund? You put it in an high-yield savings account in giving you 3 to 5%, right? That's where you put it. Why is the emergency fund important? Like, it's even two layers. There's the emergency fund. There's another thing before we get to investing, right? Emergency fund before investing, before we get to investing. So the second thing, Ade, welcome in. Sekiba, welcome in. Prosperity, welcome in. And thank you all for tapping out the live. We try to get to 10,000 likes as quickly as possible so that, and we share out the live. Press the forward and share the live. And someone asked the question, should you have emergency fund before investing? And the answer is yes. Have your emergency fund. The reason is because in a situation where there is an actual, when life happens, there's a job loss, there is an emergency, there's major car repairs, you need to have an emergency fund, right? Because if you don't have an emergency fund, you will run into debt and you will start paying high interest debt, right? High interest debt. But you want to avoid this by making sure that you have those funds in place such that if there's no income today, think about it. Spirit Airline laid off 17,000. That is 17,000 families right there that lost their income just last week. 3 weeks ago, or going almost a month now, Oracle laid off 30,000 employees. 30,000. That is 30,000 families right there that are impacted. You know what's going to happen? If some of them do not have an emergency fund, what's going to happen to their income? They will start struggling. That's where you see people going through eviction. That's where you see people, the next one, they cannot pay their bills. The first thing first is, when things like that happens, if you already have a safety net, you'd realize that it's so easy for you to pick up because you have the skills. All you have to do is dust your resume, start looking for a new job, or even if you have to drive Uber for a couple of months while you are doing this, but you have a bulk amount of emergency fund for another 3 to 6 months. The reason why I said that a lot of people make this mistake is because a lot of people do not have emergency fund. That's the truth. And they don't have it. And what is an emergency fund? Emergency fund is your basic needs, right? Remember, it's not wants, basic needs of 3 to 6 months. Basic needs of 3 to 6 months. And to bring it to make it very clear, what does 3 to 6 months mean? I make 1,000 a month and I'm able to save 300 a month. What business can I do with my savings? Okay, we'll come to it. We'll come back to it. Can you just remind me, Book for Life? Remind me and we'll come back to it, okay? Let's keep tapping out the live. Let's tap out the live. Let's subscribe on the YouTube side. If you haven't subscribed, let's tap out the live. Let's get it to 1,000 and get it to 5,000 and from there. All right. So the emergency fund, it's a very, it's your 4 things, right? The basic needs. What are the basic needs? Number 1 is your housing, right? Your mortgage or your rent. So put it down, mortgage or rent, okay? Can we put it out? Like, can someone write it out? Mortgage or rent? That's the first thing. Mortgage or rent. Okay? The second thing that is needs. The second needs, all right, is your groceries, feeding, right? And I'm not putting it in any other. Feeding is the next one. Asa, welcome in. Feeding is the next thing. Son, welcome in. The third thing is your, so like I said, groceries, housing, and then the next thing is your, what's it called? So your groceries, your mortgage, your utilities. You want to have it. You want to have your AC on. you need to, you need electricity, right? You need water. All of those things are basic needs of life. And then the last one is transportation. There's something that takes you from point A to point B. That you need a transportation. It could be bus pass that you need to go to the job, right? You need a bus pass, or you need a car, you have a car note, or you need gas in your car. Whatever brings you from point A to B, those are your basic needs. So these basic needs that I said, it could be $3,000, right? Let's assume that all these four things is 3,000. Your mortgage is 1,800. Your car, you don't have a car note, or you have car notes, maybe 300. Feeding is about 500. Utilities another 500. Thereabout. Let's say $3,000, hypothetically. So how much should you have as your emergency fund? 3 to 6 months, right? So it means if you're 3 months, it means 9,000. And where do you put it? You put it in an high yield savings account. What's an high yield savings account? It's just your regular bank account that gives you between 3 to 6% return. Remember, your traditional bank will give you how much? 0.01%. So your Bank of America, that's the interest that you get on your Bank of America, Chase, or Wells Fargo, right? But when it comes to this bank, like a Capital One will give you 3.3%, because as of today, inflation is at 3.3%. So they give you 3.3%. So at least you are edging against inflation. Your money is not growing, but at least you are not losing the money, because in your Bank of America, you are losing about 3.299, right? Because you only get to 0.01%, but inflation is taking 3.3% from you. So you are losing 3.29 of your money every single year, right? So always understand this. The only money that we're going to be putting in an IU savings account is our emergency fund for 3 months, for 6 months. Okay. So Andrew, I hope that answers your question. So that's the second thing in terms of wealth flow, the wealth order. Number one is your income. Then you get your 3 to 6 months. So first of all, if you don't have any emergency fund at all, start with 1 month, right? Fill it to 1 month. Once you get to 1 month, the next step in terms of the wealth flow is the wealth order. Then you have high interest debt. Any debt that is above 10%, you're going to take care of it. You see, that's the next thing, Andrew. That's the next thing before investing. You have your emergency fund. Ella Digital, welcome. Angel Tindo user, welcome in. The Oni, welcome in, and everyone. And let's keep tapping out the live. Let's get it to 1,000, and then from there get it to 5,000, then to 10,000. Oh, thank you so much for the daily admin. Let's tap out the live. Let's share out the live as well. Press my forehead, share out the live. And on the YouTube side, we try to get to 20 subscribers every single time we go live. So let's do that. If you haven't subscribed, do that, because I tell you, I have so many things to gain than to lose, because every single Sunday I have long form videos that's going to help you. Thank you for the repost, Eller, and thank you all for tapping out the live. So we're talking today is about live Q&A, and Andrew asked the question. When should I start investing? Should I invest before emergency fund? And that's why we're talking about the wealth order. So your question is, can't you invest and do emergency fund at the same time? Yes, you can definitely do that. But what I would even recommend is that just do the 1 month first before you even start investing. Do 1 month. See, there's no, how do I put it? See, think about it. Even with the emergency fund that you're saving, remember it's in an IU savings account. It's not like it's not generating anything. It's generating 3 to 5%. But remember, I always preach something. It's safety first. Because that income, what if it's not there tomorrow? What's going to happen? And you have already put it in the stock market. And then in the stock market, that's when the stock market is down. That's the reason why you're putting it in an IU savings account. The reason why I always say that, have your emergency fund, put it in an IU savings account first, is protection first. Yes, absolutely. Protection first. Protection first. If only it would allow me to do this. Okay. Protection first. That's what I preach here. Protection absolutely comes first. So think about it. If you go and put your money, you put it in an in the stock market. Remember, stock market fluctuates. As of 3 weeks or so about ago, The S&P 500 was at 6, it was at 585 or something, right? Guess what it is right now? Is at 6, is at all-time high. Maybe like 680. I've not even checked what it is as of today, right? I've not checked what it is. But what I'm trying to tell you right there is, what if you have that emergency at a time when the stock market is low? What's going to happen? You will be forced to sell at the low. But if you put it in an higher savings account, the money is protected. It's guaranteed you are not losing any funds, right? So it's very, very important. Do your 1 month first. Then once you do your 1 month first, then you go to high interest debt. And a lot of people argue with this. Why should I focus on paying interest debt first instead of me to start investing? Let me explain the reason. A lot of time when I say, and that's why I say high interest debt, any debt that is above 10%. So I'm not talking about your mortgage. I'm not talking about your car notes, because those ones are typically less than 10%, right? But I'm talking about credit cards. If your credit card is at 20%, is at 25%, S&P 500 is growing at 14 to 15%. That's where you're investing, right? At 14 to 15% in the past 10 years. It means, what does that mean? It means that you are investing, right? Let's assume that you have the same 1,000. 1,000 is what you hold the bank 1,000. The interest is at 20%. You have $1,000. You have the option of either paying off the interest, the debt, or you have the option of investing. Now, when you put the 1,000, you will get 15%, right? Return. But here, your debt is at 20%. That means you are making a loss of 5%. So that's why you take care of those high interest debt. Remember, we talked about foundation. Take care of those foundation first. You cannot come and start laying the blocks. If you lay the blocks on no foundation, what's going to happen? The house is going to fall. It might take you time, but it just takes, just take that patience. So like I said, start with 1 month, right? Start with 1 month of emergency fund. Then go to your, what's it called? And let's keep tapping out the live. Let's tap out the live. Let's share out the live. Can we do that one more time? And let's subscribe on the YouTube side. Try to get to 20 subscribers. Let's tap out the live. And let me do my own part of sharing the live as well. Just so I can get everybody here, just to make sure they know we are live. Let's power out. Let's power share as well. And let's keep tapping out the live. Okay, let's share out the live. If you don't know how to share, just press my forehead on the screen. Your contact is going to come up, and then you share it right there with them. That's how it's been done. Okay. All right. And YouTube guys, let me know where you're connecting from. I am in Texas, in United States. I'm Dr. Lina. I'm Doctor of Business and Technology, and I help professionals turn their income into real wealth. And I have with the TikTok community. So when you hear certain things, that's because there's some things that we have on TikTok that we do not have on the YouTube end. So that is why. So I'm just doing a power sharing, and give me a minute. We're talking about the wealth. We're talking about the wealth order. That's what we're talking about today. The wealth order. And of course, ask me any question. Today is also live. It's also question and answer. So feel free to ask questions. And I am almost done with doing this, and we'll continue with the class about now. Perfect. Great. So the first thing is your income, and let's tap out the live. Welcome in everyone. Residents, welcome in. Let me know where you're connecting from, and of course, welcome here. We're talking live question and answer about investing. Tap out the live, and of course, share out the live. Invite your friend over, just so even your enemy, right? They would love you right after, because everybody loves to know how to build wealth, because money helps a lot. It hence the BS. So the P5, welcome in. Thank you so much for the roses. Thank you for sharing out the live. So So the first thing, income. The second thing is what? Your second thing is your emergency fund. Start with 1 month, then move it to 3 to 6 months, right? It's a safety net. Put it in an IU savings account. Then the next one is any debt is above that is above 20, and that is above 10%. So it means anything outside of your mortgage, and you might be saying that, okay, but the credit card is not doable and whatever. No, what I simply mean is that every single month, use your debit card, your credit card like a debit card. So it means that if your money is not in your bills and spending account, you are not spending it. You are not using your card to buy your credit card to buy that. You are basically, that's what it means. Use your credit card like a debit card. If money is not in your if the money is not in your account, in your bills and spending account, you are not spending it. So whenever I say pay our interest debt off, it means that pay it within the billing cycle, right? Every credit card has a billing cycle. Pay it within that period. Let it not go past. That's going to help you. It's going to help you with your credit, which is part of the things that you're going to be using for one of the pillars, the major pillar, which is real estate, right? Buying real estate, you will need your credit. The other thing that whenever you use your credit or you pay off your credit, you do it this way, low utilization, you pay it within the billing cycle. What's going to help you is you realize that your credit is going to go up. You get better interest rate. You have more credibility with the lenders. Those are the things, those are the benefits, right? Of having, paying off your credit, paying off your debt, right? That's what it, and then you can now use that credit to now buy assets, right? So pay off your credit so that you can start buying assets. And let's keep tapping out the life. We haven't gotten to 1,000 scenes. What is going on today, guys? I know we are all busy, but let's tap out the life. Tapping out is sharing, right? That is showing love, right? Tap out the life and subscribe on the YouTube if you haven't. For my YouTube community, let me subscribe. Wisdom, tap out the life. Olua, tap out the life. Books for life. Let's do that. Let's tap out the life. Isabel, Andrew, let's tap out the life. Thank you so much. Let's do that. Thank you so much to P5 for tapping out the life, and let's power share as well. Share with our friends and family. Thank you so much for doing that, so that we can get on the FYP. We can get more people in here to come and learn about financial education, financial literacy. Basically, you are helping a life. You don't know who you are helping right there, right? And that's part of my reason of even coming to this, just be on social media, to be able to share my knowledge, because I started seeing people going through eviction. There's a lot of people are going through unemployment right now. A lot of people have been laid off, right? So whatever, as they are rebuilding, whatever we can do, that's your only two way of giving back. You don't have to give money. You might not be on this side of seat, but the fact that you're able to share with them, it's a way that you are blessing others. Okay, so let's tap out the light. Let's share out the life. Thank you for doing that. Oye Drama, welcome, and every other person tapping out the life. Awesome. So having said that, so your high interest debt, you want to take care of that. Then until after this that you start investing. So income, then emergency fund, do 1 month, pay off your debt, and then of course you will continue to build your emergency fund till you get to 3 months, till you get to 6 months, and of course you get to a time when you don't even need that anymore. You don't, because you get to 6 months, you don't need to put any other money. Then where does the money go? You put it towards investing. And then what sort of investing do we even talk about? Or whenever we're talking about investing, right? And this thing that I just talked to you about, these are little things that you miss, and you'll be like, you know what? If you change it, it will change your financial status. That's the truth of the matter. It changes your financial status, because think about it, you are losing money to interest every single month. You are losing money to interest every single month. They always say that the borrower is a slave to the lender. So the lender, stop giving your money to the bank. Stop giving them, because trust me, that your credit card is somebody's business. Is the bank's business. So the way you are investing, that is a form of investment to the bank. That's a form of investment. Stop leaving your money in the bank account. Put it in an IE savings account. Stop using your credit card the wrong way. You are also funding their business. That's basically what you're doing. But you need to now think of how can you grow your money. Those are the things you need to think about. IG savings account is one way. Investing is the other way. But then you should have taken care of your emergency fund for, in case of income loss. You have taken care of your, all those high interest. Then you now go into investing. So what sort of investing do we talk about, right? What sort of investing do we talk about? Or who has any question? I hope that answers your question. Andrew, does that answer your question? And somebody asked another question earlier. Let me see. Books for life. Yeah. So you said I make $1,000 a month and I'm able to save $300. What business can I do with my savings? Book for life. That's an amazing question. The first thing first that you need is to build capital. Okay. Glad, Andrew, glad you answered your question. Let's keep tapping out the live and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Follow if you haven't followed. Eden, welcome in. So $1,000, you're saving $300. You are doing well because you are saving 30% of your income, right? The first thing I want you to do is I want you to think of what are the other ways you can increase that income, right? Because if with your $1,000 you are able to save $300, it means now imagine what you can do with $10,000. Imagine what you can do with $2,000 and $5,000. So that's the first thing first I'm going to start. I want you to take out of here. How can you increase your income, right? And we're going to be talking about all of that in June the 6th, I think so. June the 6th is when we're going to be talking about everything income. But you start researching it now. You don't have to wait till then. So $300 you need for you to do a major business, right? What country are you? If you're in the United States, there's not so much that you can do with 300. That is like a major business, right? But one thing I can tell you that you can do is to invest in the stock market. So I want to believe that you're saying that you already have your emergency fund. So you can start investing. You can buy S&P 500. It's going to give you averagely in the past 10 years is returned 15%, right? And you keep that your $300 every single month. $300 times 10, that is $3,000. So you are actually doing very okay. That's $3,600 for you every single year. 3,600 times 10, it means that 10%, at 10%, it means that you get $360. You get close to like $500. As a matter of fact, that's going to be 150 plus 360. That is going to be 510 plus another like 540. That's what you're going to get. 540 is what you're going to get on your 3,600. So your 3,600 is going to become 4,100 thereabout. More like thereabout each year. Think about it. You are doing that right now. I don't know if your plan is to invest in real estate. If you have never bought a property, you can save like this for another 2 years or 3 years and put it towards a down payment of a property. And that's why I said it will take you longer. Even though you're saying you're doing $300 every single month, all that you need is capital. So if you are following the process that I talk about, right, is take that money every single year, get it to like with a $250,000, buying a $250 home, $250,000 home, you need to save about $12,000. So that's based on what you have said right now. It's going to take you about 2.5 years to 3 years, right, to save that amount, and you can have it towards a down payment. Right there, you are building your capital. Within that period, you are getting knowledge of real estate, and you can buy your first rental property. I want to believe that you are a single person. You're single, right? If you're single, right, you can rent out, you can stay in one room and rent the other part of the house. If the house has a basement, you can live in the basement and rent out the upper part of it. You can use it for short-term rentals, right? Those are businesses for you. Remember, you're saying that $300, it sounds like, oh, it's small money. But look at the way I just explained it to you. In 3 years, in less than 3 years, first of all, it's growing every single year at 15%. It is not risky, it is safe, right? But then think you in less than 3 years, you can use FHA loan to buy your first property and live an house hack, right? After stay there for 2 years, that particular property, stay in there for 2 years, do the same thing again. Within that 2 years, remember, you already have, it's somebody else that is paying that your mortgage. So if your $1,000 that you were getting before, if you're paying, if some of it was rent or whatever, now you are not going to be paying rent, and most likely will not be paying rent because your tenant is the one that is going to start paying the mortgage of that house. You are just living in a small place in that house, even though you are the owner of the house. And then in 2 years, within that 2 years, this time you are going to now have more money. In less than 2 years, you will buy another property. You move out from this property and rent it out as a whole. Then you buy another property again in 2 years. See, now you have two properties. Using this same $300 that we are talking about, that you might think that is small, but while you are saving it, you are putting it in ETF, right? Either ETF or stocks that you are comfortable with or whatever. But I say ETF because here I am not one of the high risk, I am moderate risk, right? I don't know if you are young. If you are young, you might also be able to lean forward to things that are a little bit more risky. But if you are not, if you are in your 20s or your early 30s, you can decide not to say do ETF, because ETF, like an S&P 500, will give you about 15%. That's what it says. 14 to 15% is what is returned in the past 10 years averagely. In the past 30 years, it's done 8 to 12%. So depending on, but even with this kind of return, and your consistency is key, right? In all of this, trust me, by year 3, by year 5, you would have gotten 2 properties, right? And that 2 properties using FHA loan, low down payment, you would also get tax deduction. You would now, guess what? You would have gotten, your asset would have been like $500,000. You have asset of $500,000. Guess, and how much are you keeping? $300 every single month. So it's all about strategy when it comes to building wealth. You have to be very intentional. You have to be very consistent, and you have to know exactly what you're doing. You need to know your goals and your focus. Let's keep tapping out the life. I hope that answers your question. Another thing that you can do, right? After you do the 1 and 2, you can decide to say, okay, you know what? Now you have enough equity in the house. Take the money. You can go and buy laundromat. You can decide to say, okay, you want to diversify. Remember, you are still building money in ETF. I always encourage diversification. There's ETF, you have money in the stock market. You have money in real estate, and then you can have money in businesses as well. That's how you build wealth. You don't leave it, you don't build wealth on just one thing. Because if you build it on one, that one can crumble. But if you diversify your risk, right? You diversify your portfolio, you see that your risk, is spread across multiple industry. Because even with just ETF, and you're like, welcome in. And thank you so much for the follow. And every other person that follow, welcome in. Today is just about life Q&A, investing. Ask me any question. And my friend just asked a question here, and he said, I have $300. I have $1,000 and I'm saving $300 every single month. What can I do? And I just gave him an exact plan that I would do if I were in his shoes. Book for life. Does that answer your question? Does that answer your question? Is it possible? Does that answer your question? Book for life. Are you still here? I hope you're still here. Okay. All right. Is it possible to trade from your 401k without pulling it out? Let me think. I don't think so. I think you can only, you can't trade it by yourself. But is it from employer to employer? Because for all of my employers, and trust me, I've had like 6 or 7 or 8 in my 20 years, almost 20 years of in my career. I've had, there's never be a single one that allowed me. I think they just allowed you choose. Are you a moderate risk? They had different, or somebody should correct me if I'm wrong. If they allow you, I don't think they allow that, because I've never had a situation where they allowed me to, you know, to do the trading by myself. They've never allowed me. You can only choose. Like, okay, do you want this fund? Do you want this plan? Do you want this plan? Choose the plan that you want. That's, it's like, yeah, structured. It's not something that you can pick by yourself. Please, okay, yeah. They don't allow that, right? And someone should correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me or not correct me if I'm wrong. Actually indicate if they allow you pick, but I've not had that situation. But if you want to do this, Andrew, right? I believe that you can actually take a loan from your 401k, and I've seen people do it. They take a loan and pay themselves, right? You take a loan from your 401k, you're taking a loan from yourself, and you're going to fix the interest that you want to pay. And then you can now go and use it for whatever you want to do, right? So I have seen that. So if you want to have a little bit of control, but the only thing is with that is that you have to be very disciplined. You cannot take the money to go and use it on liability. But I know, Andrew, with you coming here regularly, I know that you are not one of those that would use it for liabilities. I can be sure of that. And let's keep tapping out the life. Let's tap out the life. Let's share the life. Welcome in. And if you're just meeting me, I'm Dr. Lina. I'm Doctor of Business and Technology. I help you turn that your 9 to 5 income into real wealth, because 9 to 5 income, if all that you do is lifestyle, you just pay bills, you're just trading your time to pay bills, but it's not going to help you build wealth. It's what you do with that income, right? Use some of it to fund lifestyle, use it to fund your basic needs, but take majority of it. Ideally, I say between 30 to 50%. If you cannot do 30 to 50%, it's okay. Let it be a goal for you, right? And then use that one, invest it, right? That's what you basically, let's tap out the life. All right. Any question? And today is with having question and answer. You have question about investing, about real estate. I know we are all locked in. Andrew, Isabel, Andrew you've been asking an amazing question all day. So keep the question coming. Wisdom, give us some wisdom. Ask your question. Isabella, Young, welcome in, and let me know if you have any question. Kemi, welcome. Slim Fit, welcome. Aiden, welcome. Aiden speaks French. I've been in his life before, and he speaks French. You need to tell us everything about what you do. JD, yeah, you have any question? Chazaha, welcome back again. It's so good to see you. Any questions at all? Any questions at all? Today is about question and answer, and let's tap out the live. And I'm trying to see my people in on YouTube. Let me know where you're connecting from. Let's tap out the live. Let's tap out the live. Tapping doesn't cost you anything. And if you don't know how to tap, just tap the screen. Now that's not for YouTube. YouTube, all you have to do is to subscribe. Yeah, just tap out the live. You're a great man. You are welcome, Wisdom. Thank you so much. That means a lot coming from somebody that is wisdom, full of wisdom. Andrew, thank you for tapping out the live. So any other question? Any other question? Right? Any question? Today is your time to ask question. If you want to come up, feel free to just request. Click on the invite sign right there. Click on it and you can definitely come up. And for those on YouTube, welcome in. Subscribe if you haven't. I release every single Sunday. Most Sundays, I have long form videos that's going to help you. And I have tens of videos, long form videos right there that would bless you. I tell you, if you watch half of the videos that I have on my YouTube channel, trust me, you would come back and hug me and your finances will change. I can tell you that. Jose, welcome. Jose Aldri, welcome in. All right. So let's talk about, we talked about the 4 wealth We talked about the wealth order, the right wealth order, right? The right wealth order. Zeb, welcome in. We talked about that earlier, right? Which is your income first, followed by any you pay your my brain income first, then you have your what's it called, you have your the high interest debt is the third one. Second is your emergency fund, right? And so people should help me. We've been all be here, right? You should help me. If I forget it, you should help me because I've said it. Income, emergency funds. Can somebody put all the three types of the four? Well, perfect. What's the next one? Which one? After, so income comes first, right? After income is what? Emergency fund. After emergency fund is what? Put in the comment. After emergency fund is what? What do we pay off after emergency fund? Andrew, did we miss something? There's something before investing. This is not for everybody, and I understand if you missed that part. This is not for everybody. No bills. Bills is one of the accounts, right? Bills is one of the accounts. So the first, the wealth order, high consumer debt, perfect. Yes, high interest debt, perfect. So that is it. So the first thing, income, perfect. Kemi, oh Miss Kemi, how are you? So good to have you. Yes, so the income is first, right? The second, and my kids, my daughter's teacher is in the house. Yay! So good to have you. So good to have you, Miss Kenny. Thank you so much for all that you do. It's so amazing to have. She is amazing. If you are looking for somebody to coach your kid, right, elementary kid and all of that, reach out to me. I have the plug. I do have the plug, right? My daughter was struggling with reading. Yeah, my daughter was struggling with reading, and guess what? In less than 2 months, this woman did an amazing job. Amazing. So reach out to me. I have the plug. I'm not gatekeeping, but seriously, this is not even free. This is, now my daughter from that was struggling to read, all of a sudden now is the least that I see is now is 95, right? That's all that I see. So just reach out to me. I'm a doctor, so education when it comes to kids, trust me, I don't even play with it. I don't play with it. I am I'm overjoyed. So if there's anything like that, you just let me know. You have kids, elementary kids that needs maybe they're struggling with their studying and all of that. Forget all those. Kuman is good, but I tell you, this one is the real deal. It's the real deal. It's the real deal. So let me know. It will save your pocket, and at the same time, you will get all that you need. So send me a DM and I'll give you a contact. Then you will thank me later, right? We are investing in the kids as well. And let's keep tapping out the life. Let's share out the life. Let's tap out the life. So it's all about questions today. So number one is your income. Number two is your emergency fund, like Andrew said. Number three is high interest debt, and then we start investing. And then what did we invest in? What do we invest in? We invest in those ones. Another four. It's a four account system. The first one is what? The first account is going to be your 401k, right? Your retirement account. So which is for your future, right? Your future retirement. How we know that we are not going to? We may not have social security at retirement. That's what you are waiting on. Sorry to burst your bubbles. There might not be any form of retirement plan. Any form of social security at that time, because the life expectancy when they started the program, and you can go and read about it. The life expectancy when they started the program was, they thought that people were going to be dying in their 60s, right? But now their life expectancy, they are welcome in. Now the life expectancy is way higher. So it means that people are they are alive longer and now taking social security for longer period. So there is a shortage already. So that's why you need to have your own plan, 401k. Have your 401k, right? And what do you put in your 401k? Whatever your employer is matching. And 401k, we have TFA. I think we have is it what do we have in Canada? TFSA is Roth IRA in Canada, and ISA is the one that we have in the UK and in Europe. In Africa, like in Nigeria, we have our regular retirement funds, right? We have the pension and all of that. But what I'm here in the United States, Michi, welcome in, and let's tap out the life. Can we get it to 10,000? Can we keep tapping out the life? Let's get it to 5,000. We have a lot of people here, right? Andrew, Isabel, I know we are all locked in. Wisdom, Shazaza, all things success. And yes, we are all success. JD, Kemi, Olua, Akinla, Mishi. Thank you all for tapping out the live. Wisdom, thank you all for tapping out the live. I know Dell, let's tap out the live. Thank you all for doing that. So, what am I saying? So, your 401k, make sure you have your 401k. Your 401k is key. Thank you so much for tapping out the live, sharing out the live. 401k is key. Then the second thing that you also want to have is, so you have your 401k, you want to have your Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is a tax advantaged account. Tax advantaged account, that's Roth IRA. So it means that you are not going to be taxed at retirement, right? You're not going to be taxed. And if you have not follow as well, get your daily at me. You know, your Roth IRA is tax advantage. Your 401k, you are just putting what your employer is matching. So if your employer is matching 4%, 3%, 6%, you're going to take the 6%. Then the next thing is for you to actually fund your Roth IRA. The difference between the two is that your Roth IRA, you are going to pay tax at the source, and when you're putting the money in, when you're taking the money out, you're not going to be paying capital gain taxes. So it means that if your money grows from 100,000, it becomes $1 million, for instance, you're not going to pay any single tax on that 1 million that it grows to. That's the reason. But it's 7,500 every single year. That's all that you can put. That's the best that you can put in your Roth IRA, because it's a huge tax advantage account. So there's the limit. So the government actually regulates what you can put in there. All right. So, but you need to have 7,500. That's $625 every single month, right? That's about $12.50 every paycheck if you are paid every 2 weeks. 1P, welcome in. All right. Okay. So you want to have that. Then the other account that you want to have is your HSA, your health savings account. This is different from IU savings account. IU savings account is your typical your bank account, but with a higher interest, right? Higher interest. But health savings account is your savings account. It's, you know, it's triple tax advantage, right? Because it's not taxed at all in any way, not taxed at all. And then you might get some benefit with your employer. I think it comes with your high deductible health insurance plan, right? And with that, your employer can contribute like up to, my employer would contribute like $1,000 every single year. That's what they put into it, which is free money. So take that, but it is for your health. So you will advise to max your IRA, your Roth IRA, your Roth, yes, if you can. But start with your 401k. See the flow, just the same way like the wealth system, right? Everything is a flow. Start with your 401k. Max out what your employer is matching. So some people make this mistake. They put 10%. They go and put 10% of their income in 401k. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Right? I know that there might be some other reasons, but you just want it for safekeeping. But what I'm saying is that if your employer is matching 6%, all that you are taking is, they say put 6%, I'll match 6%. That's all that you are putting in there. Then you go, next will now be your Roth IRA. Max out your Roth IRA if you can. That's 7,500 every single month, right? So if you're saying that Roth IRA, right, you are referring, Andrew, are you saying Roth IRA? Roth, right? That's what you mean by IRA. I mean, the state no match. Okay. So, I mean, just put a little in the 401k. Then put the remaining one. Yeah, yes. do Roth, right? Do Roth, max out your Roth, because every of the account has different benefits, right? I would say that because I don't know how old you are, I don't know your goals, right? If you are closer to retirement, okay, let me put it this way, back to that your question again, which is a great question. So do you advise to max out your Roth, your IRA, or put more in investing accounts if they are not matched? Okay, let's it depends on your financial goal, right? It depends on your age. It depends on where you are at in life, right? That's the way I would address that question. But generically, right? I would say that max out your Roth IRA because it's 7,500, and then if you still, then you now go into investing in your brokerage. The reason why I say this is your Roth IRA is for your future. If you don't have anything at all already for your future, right? Then keep on doing that Roth IRA because you're not going to pay any taxes on it for your retirement. That's it. Your brokerage account as of today, but guess what? On that Roth IRA, you cannot take that money until after 59 and a half. If you take money out of it, you're going to be penalized. So it has a different. So let's assume that your Roth IRA you already have $1 million there, right? But then you are just still building your you want to start buying real estate, right? Then you can easily say that, you know what, let me stop, just put a little in my Roth IRA and then start putting a lot more. Because once you lose your advantage of, remember it's a tax advantage account in Roth. Because once you lose it for that year, I think you can roll it over for another year. That's about it. It means that you have lost that opportunity to get free money, capital gain taxes. Daniel, thank you so much for the likes, right? Free money, right? You have already lost it for other years. So I want you to, because remember, it's going to grow tax free. That's the benefit of it. Unlike your regular brokerage account, it's not going to grow tax free, it's going to be taxed. However, if you have a project, you're trying to build capital for real estate, you want to build capital for your business, then you have to focus heavily to build your capital for that business as of now. Does that make sense? So it depends on your goals for now. Because if I would say that if you have 7,500, you have 15,000 to invest. Absolutely, by all means, do the 15,000, split it, max out your Roth IRA. But let's assume that you only have 7,500 for the whole year that you want to invest. It's a function of what your goal is, where you're at in your future, your retirement plan. How old are you? And then what is if you don't have any, do you have any projects that you want to do right now? Those are the things that goes into it. But by all means, I want to fund both of them. If you ask me, max out your Roth IRA and at the same time also do the one for your investment as well. Does that answer your question, Andrew? Does that answer your question? And feel free, anyone, ask questions. This is about investing. Let's tap out the live. Can we get into 5,000 taps? Okay, can we get it? Let's power tap and ask your question. Lady Monicel, welcome in. Let's tap out the live. Follow if you haven't followed. Just in case, just check again to make sure that you have followed, because people get to forget at times and they're like, oh, Dr. Lina, I did not know that I've not followed you. I did not know that I've not followed you. Any other question? Question. Today is all about question. Otherwise, I can start going to teach, right? Understand one thing, that you're not broke, right? But the way you handle, thank you. See, I just said it. All things just followed. Yay. I need to, where's that thing that they do? I need to do that, turn it on and start clapping and do all of that. I'm not sure if my account is traditional or Roth. It is just said it's lab. Traditional. Say, is it with your employer, Andrew? Do you want to come up, Andrew? Let me bring you up so that I can ask all your question. Or you can, if you prefer. Opa, welcome in. How are you? We all know the drill. Let's tap out the life. We have a lot of people. Let's tap out the life. So you want to check, right? If it's Fidelity, it will tell you it's rot, right? It will tell you if it's rot. It would, the what account. If it's with your employer, it would show you. Typically, it's going to you have 401k. That's the ideal. But then you need to check with them because at times some employers will have the 401k and then they'll have the Roth IRA, individual account based retirement. Individual account based. Did you open the account or is it with your employer? Because these are still say individual based retirement, but it could be. It looks like. Did you open it employer? Yeah, so that looks like a 401k. But check with your employer, right? Check with your employer. Individual based, yeah. Check with your employer. That looks like a 401k to me. But check with your HR. It doesn't take anything. Or check with the thank you for tapping out the live, Isabella, and every other person tap in. We're trying to get to 5,000, then to 10,000. So if it's with your employer, it's most likely 401k. But you can check with the fund manager. What company is that? Is it Fidelity, Empower, Ameritrade, all of that? Call them and ask them. You want to know, is this account Roth IRA or is it 401k? But I can tell you 9 out of 10 times if it's your employer and you do not request for a Roth IRA, it's possible. 9 out of 10 times it's a 401k. Okay? It's a 401k. Joseph, welcome in. Welcome in. And today it's all about question and answer. This is your free consultation time. Free consultation. 1 hour consultation will cost you $200. That's how much I charge for my consultation. So this is free consultation for you. If you have questions, now is your time to ask your questions about anything investing. And if you're just meeting me, I'm Dr. Lina. I'm Doctor of Business and Technology. I help professionals turn their income into real wealth. So if you have any question about real estate investing, you have question about smart investing. What is smart investing? Smart investing is ETF, exchange traded funds. It's the one I talk about here. If there's anything that you would hear about about Dr. Lina or that I preach is protection first. I lost close to $100,000, 99 and something thereabout, and some change. That's what I lost in the stock market. And that's part of the reason why I talk about smart investing. So I teach 4 pillars of wealth creation. Number 1 pillar is your income, right? Because I always equate whenever you want to buy a house, whenever you want to, wealth is about building wealth, has to be intentional. It has to be consistent. It's like a house, right? Whenever you are building a house, you have to be intentional about it. You cannot just say, oh, I want to build a house and you start. It's being intentional. That's the same way you are being intentional about your wealth. So it starts with what? It starts with your foundation. And that's the same way I teach, right? When it comes to wealth, right? Fix your foundation. What is the foundation? It's in 3 folds, right? 3 folds. It starts your financial planning, your emergency fund, your retirement fund, your trust, your LLC, if you have a business, all of those kind of things. Fidelity, welcome in, and thank you all for tapping out the live, sharing out the live. Yeah, that there's question and answer. So tap out the live, share out the live. So that is the first, financial planning, everything it's about within that. And the next thing is financial literacy, getting education, right? That is the second pillar. I mean, that's the second foundation. Remember, it's the foundation. And the third is your financial discipline. All of those things that it's called delayed gratification. Waiting, thank you so much. Mine is Roth. Oh, that's amazing then. That's amazing. So you can only put $7,500 in the account. That's basically what you can put. It's Roth. So that's great. That's great. So you have the answer right there. At least we'll figure that out now. Now you know you have a Roth IRA, right? Now you know you have Roth IRA. So as a matter of fact, it's better off for you because if your employer is not matching anything in 401k, then just stick with your Roth IRA and start investing in the, and start investing. What would you advise? Advise a self-employed individual. Just have your brokerage account, right? have your brokerage account, Miss Kenny, right? Have your brokerage, open a brokerage account. And for people in Africa, for you in Nigeria, Miss Kenny, what you need to have is open a bamboo account. There's bamboo accounts in Nigeria. Bamboo account, investment one, that's linked to GTCO, right? Investment one. There is also what was this one? There is Stanbic IBTC, right? Open any of those accounts and call them, tell them that they should, you want to open you want to start investing. You can start with, you can do treasury bills. Treasury bills is going to give you between secondary and primary, will give you between 18 to 20%. This is for somebody specifically in Nigeria because I know she's in Nigeria, right? Or in some other African country. That will give you 18%. Put some money there. That is more like almost your IU savings account. There's some other IU savings account that you can also open that gives you good interest rate. So split that money and then open your regular brokerage account and start putting money there. Buy something like VOO. Buy something like I can look for a list of what you can put your money in Nigeria, and I can share that with you. VOO, you will put your money in dollars. It returns between 14 to 50%, 15% every single year. It has returned almost like that for the past 10 years. Your money is going to be saved in dollars, and you're going to hedge against, currency issues and all of that. Deflation of the currency. You will get some money in dollars, then you have some money. You can have your CD. I mean, your treasury bills and all of that. Secondary and primary, you can have that in. Have some of that. Do like maybe 50% in dollars or 40% in dollars. Do the other ones. Secondary and primary market. Those savings. Put another one like ETF in Nigeria as well. Create another one for that as well. Maybe another 30%. So you have your money domiciled in dollars. You have your money domiciled in your local currency as well, but it's growing significantly. So that's what I would do for somebody that is self-employed. But I'm not sure I should. I think there's also some other pension plan that you can also do, but instead of doing that, just invest, just do it this way and just call it a day. 7,500, yes, that's what it is, Andrew. That is for a year. That's about $625 every single month. $312.50 every single paycheck if you're being paid 2 weeks. Andrew said, so if I have like extra 650, you're advised to put it in the Roth rather than in the brokerage account. Okay. So it depends on your age and your goals. Do you have a major project that is coming? Andrew, do you plan to put money in real estate? If you only have $650, is just your $650 is your goal for retirement? Do you want to put everything for retirement because you will not get that money until 59 and a half? You're welcome, Miss Kemi, right? You will not get that money, whatever $650, right? You will not get it until 59 and a half, right? Advice, okay. Or I can do 450 in the Roth and 150 in brokerage. Yes, you can do that. It all depends on your goal, right? Do you want to invest in real estate? Or do you want to diversify into other businesses? So it all depends. Do you want to just focus on, is your focus on your retirement? Because if you're in your 20s or in your 30s, then you have a lot of time to catch up and get your retirement to 1 million. What I would just do then is, if you want to invest in real estate, then I would do, you're in your 40s. So I would do, how are you doing with your retirement? Have you been contributing heavily into your retirement in the past? Or you are just starting with your retirement, with your retirement plan? Because I want a situation where you don't miss out of the, like the Roth, you have 7,500 and it's tax advantaged account, right? So you have not been, okay. So I would say that you should, why not we do 50-50? That's what I would do. 50-50, and then you're doing like about $350 right now in your Roth, right? And take the remaining one and start putting it towards the real estate, right? And then then you can buy your first property using FHA loan, using the strategy I talked about earlier. But then what will even be nicer? You know what's going to be nicer? As Dr. Lina is a very, you won't like me, but you will like me after. Can we try to force that income? Can we increase that 650 to $1,000? I know that you have 650 right now. You are in your first property. Okay, that's perfect then. But if you want to invest in real estate as well, if we can, can we do both? Can we max out the Roth IRA? It seems like you can max out the Roth IRA and still have some money. It seems like that. Andrew, tell me. It seems that we can have the entire Roth IRA, which is 625, right? And then we still have some money left. All we just have to do is cancel some of the subscription. End those loans. Yes, I'm working on increasing my income. Yes, but then how about the expenses? How about the expenses, Andrew? Bayobi, welcome. How are you? Thank you for tapping out the live. Thank you and thank you all for subscribing on the YouTube channel. For those that are on YouTube, ask your question away. Ask your question. Today is question and answer. This is free consultation. Yes, with more discipline on my side. That's it. You see, that discipline. Remember the foundation we talked about, that discipline. I know. You see, I told you that we can do it. So what I would do is that we'll max out the Roth IRA. And then for Dr. Lina, you will create additional money for Dr. Lina. That Dr. Lina's money is what you're going to put in. We'll start it with, you're going to open another brokerage account. You start putting that money, it's going to start growing in S&P 500, right? And then we're going to buy the next property. If I don't know if your current property is your forever home, right? If it's not your forever home and we can rent it out, we're going to house hack and we're going to move in another few years, right? Move into the new house, and then we're going to rent this house. And this property is going to be our house for house hacking. We're going to get this first house. We're going to move to the next house and we're going to rent out this house because you probably use FHA. Then we're going to use the FHA again in another house. That's what we're going to be doing, right? And then you'll not be getting what? You're not just going to be getting one income anymore. You start getting cash flow from real estate and you're going to get some tax benefits as well, because it also sounds like you are going to be falling in that high income tax bracket. So you'll be able to claim some. You will open the LLC, have your real estate in there, right? And then you reduce your taxes. So the money that you're giving IRS, you're going to reduce it right there. And then you are building your asset right there. Because now you now have multiple properties. You have, I don't know what your property costs right now. So that's a strategy right there. And somebody, okay, I should have you. Okay. All right, Andrew. Andrew is taking his free consultation. Hi, Andrew.
Hi. Yeah, I had a good start, but things came up. The first house we got was a good deal, 3.75 during COVID during that 2020. But I now sold it in 2024, for a higher house. And that's when the FHA now replayed again. But that first time I even paid off the FHA. So that was the move I made, but it was a good start. So I'm just in this building journey again. But I think that was maybe I don't know if I'll call it a wrong move I made that time, but I believe all things still work together. I'm a believer.
Yes, I am as well. See, it's going to all work out. Yeah, it's going to definitely all work out. But as a matter of fact, you've done it one time, you've done it two times. You use FHA the first two times, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we're probably going to house hack again. So back to what we were saying, the strategy for you that I think it will be ideal, and I know that with more discipline, you already said the answer to yourself, increase your income, take some other side also, right? Increase that income. And then the other thing is that we are keeping that bill and we are even reducing it further. Like all those subscriptions, we're canceling it. That lunch, we're going to be eating from home, and all of those kind of things, right? we're going to be doing this for the next 3 to 5 years, and everything is going to
Yeah.
change, right? Because you're going to be
Yeah.
buying. I think that your Roth IRA, max it out, use the antithesis. You said you already have 650, all right? All that you need is 625, because for you to for 7,500, that is already a whole, for a whole year, right? 7,500 is all
Mm-hmm.
that you need. But then I have a feeling, I don't know why, that you will be able to cough out another, $500, and I know you will do it.
That would be a stretch.
Yes, it's a
Uh,
stretch.
I'll see.
It's
And
just,
I have two kids. Once a while they wanna eat something different from the house. So yeah. But
I have
come
4.
on. You have four kids, wow.
Uh-huh. So I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's just something called delayed gratification. But you're doing well, by the way. I see you show up every day. You see this financial education that you're getting, and the fact that you're showing up and you're listening, you're participating, you're asking questions. There's something that is about to change in your financial story. There's just, I tell you, and that's why I said that I sense it. It's not about yes, talk about the spiritual part or whatever, but I sense it that you can be able to bring some more. I understand the kids, they want to eat this, they want to eat that, they want to do that. That's fine. I'm not saying reduce your standard of living, right? However, you can do, there's some things that you can also do. You see all those eating out and all of that, you can do the nice fries at home and get the chicken nugget, buy the bag of whatever, and do it at home as well. But that's not even
Mm-hmm.
think about that. But that's not even the big deal. Think about all of the subscriptions that you might have right now, that just go on. We will do something in June, and this is for everyone. We're going to be doing the mid-year money challenge. The mid-year money challenge is going to force you to go and look at your bank statement for the past 2 months. That's one of the tasks. You're going to be looking at what are those expenses that is out of place, and see how you're going to be saving towards it. You know what I mean? So you increase that your income, and this could be, Andrew. I don't know what you do. It could be that in the next how many months, take 4 hours, ride Uber, right? Take take some time, rent out your car on Toro. It might be write an ebook. Those are ways you can, or get another certification to increase that income. But first of all, before you even, as you are doing that, also look at your statement. Just look at it, pick up your statement for this month and last month, and review it and see what are the things that I can count that I do not need, or what is the things that are not the basic needs. Not my rent, is not my mortgage. In your own case, it's your mortgage. It is my mortgage, your car note, or your transportation, your feeding, which is the groceries, a little bit of splurging, right? A little bit, and of course utilities. Anything outside of that, do that calculation and see the difference. Remove it from your income, see the difference, and see, is it left with $650, or, because just do that calculation like that, and then now see what is the difference. That is the exact number that you should be keeping. Then,
Yeah. So
yeah, that's what you
for
need to do.
yeah. So like I'm in the financial service area too, but like protection area. The other day I
Fraud.
was asking about IUL, but yeah, I started to just pay attention to observe my finances of lately. And even not long ago, I just did it where, they can do a breakdown on it. And when I saw the percentage going on mortgage already, I was like, whoa, like 81%. I was like, that's crazy. If I do 81% on mortgage already, I'm doing 10% on tithes already. What's left?
Nothing. That's why they say put it at 35.
you know, I was like, man,
You are house
so
poor.
that's, you're saying the fact, I'm someone you tell me the truth, I take it. I don't feel bad about it. It's okay. What do I do next? Or how do I navigate next?
That's the
So
reality.
so yeah. As I said, I'm in that side of the finding the protection side, but I'm also just learning to see what's out there, what's alternative, things like that. So that's why I keep coming up to you to just learn something new.
That's amazing, Andrew. That's amazing. You are the, you are
Yeah.
one of the, you are the MVP, right? When you know that there's a problem and you start, I mean, you really don't even have a problem because that property that you're saying 80% or whatever is an asset. But now you now know that I have to force my income up one way or the other so that I can bring the mortgage to maybe like a 60%. You know what I mean? You know what I
Yeah,
mean, Andrew?
to me, I have I know it's doable, but sometimes when you're building with not a good, with a team that is not that supportive, it's difficult, So yeah,
I know.
yeah,
I know. Yeah, but just keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. You got this. We got this, right? You got this. Let's do. What I'll just say is that since you already have a property, you know, let's start with continue with your what's it called? Continue with
the
your
rot.
for your rot, right? Keep heavily put in there. But then you're not looking for the money for investment, right? That's what we start focusing on. But first of all, take care of your emergency fund. That's number one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
take care of that. That comes first before even any other thing, you know. And all things success said, sometimes fixing finances is also making tough this. Absolutely. That's it. That's it. You're very strong. It's a struggle for one. Yes. I don't want to go into that zone, right? But I mean, even the Bible says one will chase 1,000, and two will
To
chase
10,000,
10,000, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it would chase 10,000. There's a reason. It did not say it would chase 2,000, right? It's when two comes together, it should be a multiplication, right? Two good ones. It becomes a multiplication. But if one good one and a bad one, it becomes a negative. But
yeah,
let's not go into that space, right?
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Let's stay
but
positive, yeah.
yeah. But the thing about it, I think you are up to a good start. You bought property number one. We bought property number two, which is beautiful. But then, let's just see what we can do. Remember, somebody born, what's his name? Born for life, right? She said all I can save is 300,000 and $300 every single month. And I broke it down how you can easily just do it. In your own case, you might not be able to use FHA loan except you are ready to move again to do house hacking, but that might not be your case, right? But you can even literally use the 300,000. I always say have that real estate in there, right? Real estate, it would help you in that journey. That's what I would say. All things success said, we hear you, sis. You want to come up? If anybody wants to come up, it's okay, Andrew. But this is really, really amazing. This is absolutely I'm a little on the same boat. Come on, all things success. Come on, Andrew. As far as team, but we can do it. Yes, absolutely, we can. We can. We can. And of course, we are all getting education. At times you might also want to drag the team. Maybe share it with the team. Why about that? Let's share it with the team. Whenever we say share the life, share it with the team, right? All of those team members, that's what we mean. Share with the team. Because another thing is that some people, if they don't have if the team members don't have financial education, remember, Andrew, you just told me that you are in the financial industry. You already understand all those things, how those things work. You already know all those things. But if the team members don't have that knowledge, you might be talking to the rock because there is lack of financial literacy. But if you invite the team members in here, right, or to other financial education center, you would realize that they would get all of this education as well. Does that make sense? They don't want to know it's all things and everything goes to the pastor, right? I was one of those. I was all of those partners too. Come on, guys. I'm an accountant and MBA, and I'm still educating and learning. Yes, but seriously, at times it might take another team member that looks like them, right, to be able to speak, come through. You can't don't just judge because I understand. I'm just speaking in codes. Basically, I'll speak in plain language. If your spouse is not in the scene, your spouse is not in, because a lot of times, and let's be realistic, one of the biggest things that happens in families is that there is a saver and there is a spender. You need to understand that that's how family dynamics are. There's always a saver and there is the spender. The problem becomes if the spender is more overpowering than the saver. Trust me, this is the big issue within the family setting. And if anybody wants to come up, right, please feel free to talk about it. I'm a little in the same boat as Andrew as far as the team, but yeah, they don't want to know. It's all things spiritual. I'm accountant, MBA. I'm still educated, and I the greed and don't trust God. Yeah, things happens like there's always the spender and the saver, right? And in every family that it might be the man or be the woman, there's always that. So it is always it might take time. You have to be intentional about it. You have to be at times being forceful about it. It's even much difficult if the spender is the main gender, is the male gender, because there's the provider, is the protector, right? It becomes more difficult because if it becomes your family will not grow basically. But if it's the woman on the other hand, is the female feminine gender, it could be very frustrating because it will be dragging the family behind, because that's the person, the woman wants to buy the shoes, the latest shoes in town. They want to go attend to all the parties and all of that, and you are wondering, they want to take care of their own family and not be able to contribute and all of that. It becomes a problem. So you want to try to see, thank you so much for the follow SDH. We want to try to bring everybody around and make them understand. So that's why when I say share, you might not be in the life, and there's some things that you might do differently at times. You might decide, you might share and not be in the life at times when they sit in this life, or you might share in another life and step out of that life, so it wouldn't be like, okay, this person is bringing them in, and let them listen, because at times it's not like they don't want to do, it's just their mindset. That's why in every teaching that I teach, if I teach real estate, right, if I teach real estate, if I teach smart investing, anything I teach about income, I always talk about mindset. You have to change the mindset. They have to relearn. Some of us, it might be a case of my parents, it's only my father that was spending. My mother was not using our money. Their money is, the man's money is our money. But my own money, the woman's money is is the woman's money. That might not be the case when we are in this side of the world. In Africa, it's possible. Here, it is tough. Sometimes it's not even the spending, but it's giving up the fight. Oh, yeah. Money is one of the biggest things that breaks family. One of the biggest things, right? If one is not careful about it, it breaks the family into. So I always, it's maybe we'll talk one of these days. Maybe we'll talk finances, family, and finances.
I think one way to from my from my own little experience, I think one way to help that in that area would be people should really come down and discuss about that thing before marriage. But sometimes they get caught up in the whole
Wedding.
euphoria of wedding and things like that, and they don't really assess each other. What is your idea about money, finances? How does it work? You know. So now when they get married, they are trying to patch things together. You are left. The person is right, and But if they sit down and have such discussions before, I think it will give you something to gauge, to know, can I work with this person beyond just the attraction? But sometimes we get carried away with attractions. And I
That's
think
true.
that's one way that it will help marriages. So yeah.
That's good. That's a very good input. Yeah, I mean, because it's very, I think you should create a life, one of this life where who wants to know about let's have a life on, marriage and family and finances. Should we have something like that? Family and finances, but I need to bring everybody on the panel. You guys need to come on the panel, have a panel and we just have a conversation about family and finances. Do you think that's going to help? Tanta, welcome in. Henry, welcome in. There's no brochure for marriage. That's so true. Yeah, it's an issue. It is. It is. Yeah, we would have a panel maybe this weekend or next. Okay. Yes, I would have that. Who else? Who seconds? You put one if you want us to talk about marriage, finances, and family. Marriage, family, finances. One. Finances and marriage, finances and family. Who wants all things success? Who else? I want to make sure that we have a lot of people. Okay. Tony Baka, welcome. Family and finances. Family and finances. Who wants to talk about it? Or we just stick with what I will talk about, which is, the